Whether or not Nevermind and Play Hard integrate fast enough is a different question.
What about our chemistry, Jonathan? I mean, I just talked about how I've shaved my beard and you've said nothing about it. No compliment. No comment. Everyone's been looking at me weird recently. I just had some nieces come over. My nieces gave me that look. Their comment was, "You look scarier than you did with the beard," which wasn't very... This was 10 minutes ago, by the way. This is 10 minutes ago. This is my lead-up, John. Can I get some kind of support before we go into the draft?
Look, Mike, I don't see you, but I do remember how you looked. I remember this no beard look from BTS Pro Series 1. It's been 10 series since then, and we're back to that look. I know why you've done it, and that's a bit of a surprise down the line, but I'm sure you look wonderful, Mike. As we talked about, you know, you look like a early mid 2000s sort of emo rock lead singer, especially if your hair is on the side like that. So
it is.
You know, you can rock out to that MCR if you want to. What we can rock out together here on Mike is the draft from both sides coming out. AG, they've got the Pangolier, they've got the Grimstroke, and the Shadow Shaman. Grimstroke being picked up just to protect that Pango pick, to prevent that Soulbind. You know, great combinations on hand. Double Hex, double Shackle. It's not something you see too often, but is really strong. And I believe if you do use you target your shackle, you target your wards, I believe you should be able to get double of that too. Not area target, you know, unit target your wards. There's a possibility that could give you 2 sets of wards as well. So it's pretty strong here for AG. For Polaris though, Mike, we've seen a lot of this in the EEU DPC when we were casting, and Toronto Tokyo mentioned that this is a combination that they love and is absolutely broken. Cottled Storm again. So it slides through. You've got the top-ups there for your Storm. You just need double Null, and you're pretty much good. I actually tested this out. I actually played a Storm mid game and we won. And that says a lot.
Whoa.
If you win, if I win mid Storm with quad Nulls and an Ag's Blessing, there's a problem with this hero. It's a bit too strong, even if it loses in laning. How can you really lose in laning? You just need double Null and you're still good to go. And again, you have the Kotl to back you up. Love that Polaris go into the Mars here for Nevermind. We've seen Nevermind before, of course. He's an excellent off-lane player. Mars is one of his better heroes. So, solid combination already for Polaris. Having Mars potentially Mars Kotl lane. Really easy for the Mars to keep spamming out God's Rebuke, to keep spamming out the Spear. And you have a strong combo there where if you land a Spear, Illuminate's going to do even more damage as well. So, strong looks here from Polaris so far. They will go with the Tusk next. So, maybe looking for Tusk 4 instead. Double melee is a bit tough. AG straight into the Dusa. So they've got this massive win condition now on Army Genius's end, and can just kind of solidify that around DB. Mind you, when we watch DB, Mike, he tends to enjoy, you know, stuff like Wraith King. He likes taking a little bit more activity. Dusa will have him playing a little bit slower, and that does signal to Polaris that they could look for that faster pause one. I think the most successful we've seen recently was like Diffusal Ursa. Tends to overtake very, very fast. That could be one option for Polaris. If they want to go towards the late game, Drow, TB are options. Tiny could be a possibility, TA, but those are a little less clear in winning against Zeus. It's not always clear cut.
Yeah.
So I think Polaris still has a lot of choices here, and AG should be able to ban out a couple of those big Deuce counters if they want.
My question to you is, John, and it's not related to the draft whatsoever, but rather your draft. Did you really win that mid-storm game?
Yes, I did.
I know what you're like in the mid lane, Jonathan. Did you actually win the game?
I actually won the game. This is where it gets silly. I was playing against Invoker, which is, you know, the Storm counter on mid. I was losing mid pretty hard. I somehow dragged 5 heroes to my lane anyway, despite me crapping that lane, and we still won. Because you know what? You just, again, hit double, triple Null, you get a BKB, you work towards your Ags, you free that slot up for another Null. And when it comes to high ground defense, you just zip around once you have 25. It's like, it's actually such a oppressive hero to stop any sort of build up past that point. So, you know, Storm's got an issue. And you know what else, Mike? I do see you now on the stream. You look wonderful, Mike. You look like you've aged down so much. It's ridiculous. You know,
that's what they all tell me.
You look like 20 years younger. You look like a teenager, Michael Phoenix.
Well, how old did I look with the beard on?
You look about your age, you know, like
right.
30-ish, late 20s. Now you just look like a 16-year-old in a rock band. I swear to goodness, you just look like, I don't know, like the group of people I thought were cool when I was in high school, you know, rocking out to MCR or Taking Back Sunday or whatever, you know. It's a sick look, Mike. I like it.
For anyone wondering why I've done it, It's a very old saying. I believe it. I don't know where it comes from, John. Maybe a very old Latin saying. But it's happy wife, happy life. I think all the married men out there will understand where I'm coming from. The wife was not satisfied at all with the hair poking her in the face every 2 seconds. So she'd had enough. Personally, I'd had enough of not being able to eat my food without hair getting in my mouth either, John. So there we go. Bit of a clean look for now. Anyway, back to the draft. Enough about that. Because we're going to be going on about that all night. Because just like how people keep asking you about your glasses and why you're wearing glasses, I guarantee throughout this whole night, and probably for the next month, people are going to be like, why the hell did he shave that beard, no matter how many times I explain it. So, Army Genius's final ban to come. Another pos one I'm sure to just remove here against the Medusa. See, we saw the Ursa being banned, which is something a lot of teams go back to when they do have to play against Medusa. You want to get rid of Drow, TB, you know, your more standard Medusa counters here for A. I think Drow is probably the safest bet. Like, even if you have the Mars Storm, which, you know, is great catch for the Drow, probably just safe to, you know, get rid of that direct counter almost to the Medusa. Instead, though, they're going to get rid of the Void. That's fair enough as well, I suppose. You could build Diffusal. See, Medusa does not enjoy being in the Chrono, and I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think leaves a couple of those spicy options still for Polaris. And you mentioned Drow, but Sniper is also a spicy option, right? And again, we saw a team in EEU ban Sniper when they picked Dusa. So, you know, I'm not completely insane. Mike Sniper could be feasible. It's not going to be picked up, though. Polaris will go into the Natsumi PEA, and he loves that hero, knows how to play it to the bleeding edge. It is a bit concerning. Again, it's a Battle Fury hero, so you're going to be farming up for B Fury. Before that point, Dusa should be able to have a lot more farm presence than you would. Once you do get Battle Fury, you can rush, say, BKB and potentially Diffusal. I don't think it's really all that necessary for your PA. You just get some big crits off, and the Dusa can melt. But there is that back and forth issue here. Stone Gaze is going to be a consistent issue for the PEA. You just can't stand and fight even with your BKB. And that the Dusa can just rectify that evasion with something like an MKB or Silver Edge. So
Right.
I don't think this completely locks out the Dusa from the matchup. It's still relatively even. I'd go so far as to say that a Dusa with a stronger lane start does have a better time than the PA. So Polaris has to work double time to ensure the lane of Natsumi goes really well and he gets that buildup. And AG fall back to their special here, going for the Timbersaw for Wami, so leading us towards an Azura mid Pangolier up against the Storm. And just, again, having the strong presence on hand from the side of AG. That Timbersaw Grimstroke is such a scary lane. Inkswell, chain forward, you can just make short work of the PA. Your damage output is ridiculous early on, especially once you hit, say, level 4, level 5. And your durability is all the way high, too. So it's not like you can pressure him out. They will give Narman the Shadow Shaman. So instead, you still have Shackles, you still have the Hex to play with the Timbersaw. Really good ways to lock in that PA. And I think it's a great way to get that momentum going for AG. So really strong last pick. Could be a bit difficult in keeping the Storm down. I think that's the one issue I have here from AG. It's a lot of pressure on Norman and Varish to get the Phantom's Embrace and the Hex off from the Shadow. So blink timing for Norman's going to be key here to keep down the Luge.
It certainly will be, John. But I do feel like AG's got a very, very good draft going into this. Like, assuming they could just get the farm on DB, allow Wami to have the start he needs to, right? Which he should. It should be a very free Timber game, at least for quite a while, until maybe you have a break on Polaris Esports. And I guess you can go for an early shards build up on Natsumi if you feel like you need it against the Timber. Chances are, though, Natsumi's just going to try and farm up. Maybe once he has the BKB up, that's when he'll probably go into the shards to have that direct kind of counter towards the Timber. But up until that point, Wami should have a very free game. So I think it's going to be a lot of pressure on this Timbersaw to be able to kind of carry you through this early game until the Medusa is going to be ready to actually fight out here against Polaris Esports. John, did you have a favorite draft before we get into game number one? Can you give me a definitive answer?
I'm leaning towards AG, but it's hard to bet against Kotl Storm. You know, that is really just way too strong as it is right now. And I think that just gives Polaris that timing they need. You don't need too much farm in the Storm. You don't need too much farm here on Nevermind. He's just going to need really a blink, perhaps, on his Mars, and they can just start running. So I like seeing that from Polaris, and you are seeing the all chat. Marish saying play hard's their idol.
John, I can hear you twice, which is a bit annoying. I'm not sure why. Recently,
maybe in-game options. I have the open mic for broadcast.
So do I, Jonathan.
Reset.
Yeah, I think it did.
For
'cause all my-
broadcast.
Yeah, hold on one moment. There is going to be a Shackles out. They've got the Mars and they're going to get the first blood. Never mind. Is going to go down. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, we want to try and get this audio issue resolved so you guys don't have to hear John's voice twice, though I'm sure a lot of you would love that. John, what's the option to fix this one up?
Hit co-broadcasters
There it
under
is,
your
yeah.
audio.
Right.
That should be turned on. I think
don't know
if
why.
it is
It
turned on,
is.
it's just busted.
No. It for some reason, my Dota settings just randomly reset one day. I'm not sure why.
Ah.
And I found this out mid-pub game, by the way, John, which was very, very frustrating, let me tell you, trying to get all the hotkeys sorted. Clearly, I forgot some things, though, but we're all fixed up now. Thank you for that, Jonathan. So first blood going to go the way of Army Geniuses. It's going to be a pretty even trade for bounty runes here, it seems, as it will be a 2-for-2. Do you want to start with the top lane, John? Wami and Narman. Going to be on the Timber and Shadow Shaman against Xavius and, of course, Natsumi. We already talked about the Timber should be having a very good game here, especially during this laning stage, but do you think there is anything in particular Polaris can do to try and contest this top lane?
The best they can do is really just play around or Stifling Dagger, let Natsumi farm up from as far as possible, and Xavius try to cut off the Shaman, which he is doing right now. Running up, has a tag team, can harass pretty well. You don't quite win that right-click war, though. Shadow Shaman, again, hits pretty damn hard, so it's not going to be favorable for Xavius, and every time tag team's down, he has to back off. I think overall, it is just a really strong lane for the side of AG. You could bully out Wami pre-level 3. That's when the Tiramisaw really starts to kick into gear, going 1-1-1 or 1-0-2 in this case for Wami. But after that point, it just gets unmanageable. So I think the best you can hope for is, again, cut off the Shadow Shaman, prevent Wami from getting set up for his kill opportunity, and just play a bit more passively. Get that build up on Natsumi here.
Yeah. Well, of course, mid lane as well. You're going to have Lelouch against Azura. The mid Pango against Storm, generally not too bad for the Pangos. You do tend to just be able to spam Shield Crash, and that usually works out very effectively. Anything else we need to know about, though, for this mid lane, John? Anything we need to watch out for?
I mean, it's still a Storm, right? Like, no matter what happens in the lane, it's still going to get double null. Power Treads still feel good. You've got Kotl to back you up. Azura should be able to manage this lane pretty well. Every single time Lelouch starts to walk up, try to get Static Remnant on the creep wave, you can easily punish with a Shield Crash and Swash. Rune control is going to be important for both sides. I think Azura is going to want to be able to get every single rune he can just to slow Lelouch down. And you do have really good supports here from AG to get those rotations in at 4-6 minutes. So that's something AG should line up for.
Well, bottom lane, there is going to be Playhard going down. Top lane, Narman almost dropping, but now Xavius is the one to fall low on the task, because it seems like Wami, he's not going to go for the chase. Doesn't have any points in the chains up, so won't bother even trying. While we were down bot, we'll have a look at the bot lane, see what's going on. Of course, Nevermind is there on the Mars with Playhard on the pos for Kotl. DB's been having a very good time this far, Jonathan. Already 2 kills on the Medusa. And naturally, you are going to have the support there of Varish on the Grimstroke. So it does seem like the bottom lane in particular has been going a little bit rough. At least for Polaris so far, as well, poor old Nevermind has died once, and so has Playhard. It doesn't seem like they're having the greatest time trying to slow down this Medusa. Like, even with a laning dominant kind of core like the Mars, he's just not having... He doesn't have any CS denies at all. It seems like this Dusa is having the freest lane of its life.
Yeah, up against melee matchups, Dusa just does so well. You play with your Mystic Snake, you CS like a beast. Varish is just cutting off Playhard from looking for good angles for the Illuminate. And they're not really able to use that Chakra Magic and the God's Rebuke all too much. Again, it's not like Nevermind's always going to catch DB up front to him. So it's a very strong lane for AG to just keep farming up. And this is a worrying sign from Polaris. If they don't manage to put a dent in that Dusa's farm, it's as we said. Medusa will outfarm a PA very early on. He just needs some levels to get that done. Whereas PA just needs Battle Fury, and that takes a longer time. So if you don't manage to put a dent in DB, you start to wonder just how much you can stop this Dusa, especially if the triangle is secure, which it currently is. So let's see if the pressure starts mounting up. So far, it feels like every single lane for AG is going well, maybe outside of mid, but even that's not too bad here for Azura.
It certainly isn't. It's still a much better time though for Lelouch. And that Storm you talked about, John, he's having a very good time this far. 24-1, just no contest in the mid lane for him, and he's got really no contest over the runes either. Like, Lelouch, able to get every water rune he wants. I suppose the power runes are going to be much more important for AG to contest anyway, but considering how great of a start Lelouch is having, you probably do want to contest the water runes a little bit. The thing is, Lelouch doesn't even seem like he needs the water runes, to be frank, but he's having a very good game, and like you mentioned, John, you get the treads up, you get the nulls up, and you're ready to just move as this storm. And well, hopefully that's one thing that the next patch will change whenever that's coming, but for now, Lelouch in for a very good game.
Yep, manages to bully out Azura. Melee matchup against Storm. Again, if you walk up to CS and you don't just rely on your spells here in the Pango, double Overlord's easy to pull out here for Lelouch. So gotta watch your spacing there. But again, outside of that, AG's side lanes have been going well. They haven't gotten the support rotations out, which is concerning, but they are building up stacks. They're trying to build up now for Dedusa. They've slowed down that initial farm of Natsumi, although he's not doing too shabby either on the PA in this more passive lane now. As long as Norman's not threatening with shackles, he is free to CS. So you have to watch just how much you allow Natsumi to build into that battle fury. If he gets, let's say, at around 9 to 12 minutes, that's a pretty good timing for a PA, even though that might be just Brown Boots beat fury. That is still really quick, and that should allow you to keep up with that Dusa.
Yeah, I mean, when you're up against the Medusa, you naturally will just want to go for the Battle Fury as soon as possible. I don't mind him just skipping out of the treads. You don't really get much value with the treads either, right? Because you're against Timbersaw, who steals your stats away anyway. So the bonus stats not going to feel too amazing going for the treads build up right now for Natsumi. Much rather just go for that added regen initially and have that cleave for later on. Mid lane, a bit of a rotation. Play hard, going to be there for Lelouch. Just going to give him the Chakra Magic. Power runes, though, going to spawn up. Lelouch going to get lucky. He'll get the double damage rune down bot. Meanwhile, Xavier's going to get jumped on, but this could be a very dangerous team fight for AG as Lelouch is going to jump in with the double damage available. Narman going to try to fight back, but it doesn't seem like he's got a chance in hell of surviving as they do at least find Xavier's. But now, in they go again. Lelouch fighting for Ish, wants a triple. Azura does not want to give this away, but he might have no choice in the matter. Uphill misses, though. They're going to help a little bit, but Azura still has to run. Earn is there. Play hard, going to give the mana over, looking for the triple. They will get it. Lelouch, it just looks so easy when you've got the coddle to back you up and just keep giving you the Chakra Magic. There's nothing to stop Lelouch from doing whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah, now they get to steal a few of those stacks as well. Just a small double stack in the large camp. Still a lot of resources being stolen away from Dedusa. And again, you're just seeing the power of Coddled Storm. This is why first phase, you've got to ban probably the Coddle's the higher one, but the Storm's really just so capable right now. Even without a Coddle, very hard to stop him with just a couple of nulls up. And Lelouch is getting priority. He's going into jungle, got some big stacks to clear up. He's just going to hit that power treads timing into the BKB much faster than you'd expect. And once that BKB's up, the side of AG don't have anything to stop him. Like, again, you're relying mainly on Norman. Something like a Blink Hex, that's still a ways off from her Shadow Shaman. You have the Phantom's Embrace. Again, you have to go from Fog, harder to pull off than you'd expect. And it just feels like such a secure game for Lelouch to buy that space out for their bigger cores to farm, for Natsumi to hit that Battle Fury and just keep up pace here.
Well, they're going to go for a smoke up AG. Two heroes smoke up towards the top lane. Wami is already there trying to bait them in. Natsumi naturally going to be the target, but he will back off at the exact right time. The PA, very good map reading, is going to be fine. So now they'll have to try to settle for going after Play Hard, and Wami, he'll go for the dive in now. They've got to be a little bit afraid though. Lelouch, he can rotate at any moment. He is more than farmed enough to get involved as Play Hard going to go for the TP out, is going to make it. Narman unable to get within range to disable, and instead they're going to have to settle for the bottom, or rather the top tier 1 tower. They should be able to get it just fine. But it's not really what you brought these heroes up here for.
No, it will open up a little bit more map space to farm. It's not like the Deuce is quite ready to cross the river. DB's just playing in the bot jungle right now, and while you make that happen, like, look at the movements out from Polaris. Lelouch constantly invades the triangle. They've already got forward wards there. They've got a forward ward in the bot jungle, so they know exactly where DB's farming. And they're just being a little bit more efficient here on Polaris, getting the farm out. And you might be able to find a couple of kills if you're not careful here for Ish.
Bot lane, Ish is going to get caught. TP out is going to be fine, it seems, as never mind. Did not have the stun, but we'll throw it out now. Onto Azura. The Rolling Thunder never able to come out, so Polaris, they're going to be fine to back off. AG It's at 3-3, and they've got the very slight net worth lead as they are going to actually find somebody. Never mind. He's stuck around and he got underneath Radiant Vision. He's kind of trapped up here. Azura should be able to get another stun off and does, and now Naaman is going to rotate over. In fact, while that was happening, they even got play hard. So Wami able to find the Keeper of the Line eventually between the Tier 2 and Tier 3 tower. And it seems like he's just planning to stick around and keep this top lane pushed out.
That's what you want to see from Tim. He does back off, pay respect to the fact that Polaris could punish an overextension there. Still, you are starting to get that space up on AG. You can drop DB onto that triangle. Still has a couple of ancient stacks, not massive. Large camp stacks, never again coming out from them. You do manage to get the D wards on the sentries blocking. Side of Polaris still riding it pretty smoothly here. Lelouch is feeling pretty big.
We go. Silence is going to save for now. Varish still in big trouble. The Grimstroke, no way out. Lelouch more than happy to take another kill when he, with the Arcane Rune, there's no stopping him. He'll even take the Courier of Azura. No contest. It's Polaris. I mean, they're off to such a great start with the Storm. It's just great signs. Like, we talked about how important it was for Wami on AG's end of things to have a good game, which he is. I'd say the same for Polaris though. Like, you are relying on Lelouch to have a very good game on this Storm to allow the time and the space for this PA to farm up, and well, so far so good. While this Medusa is still free farming, at the very least Polaris, they aren't falling too far behind.
He's certainly not. And AG, it doesn't feel like they're getting as much out of the Tim as you'd want. Yeah, there's been a couple of kills out from Wami, but he's not creating as much space as you'd want the Timbersaw to do. He is chasing down Nevermind, applying pressure bot, and they will drop the wards to get that push on that bot tier 1. But you're not dragging the attention of Polaris into you. You know, Polaris is just ignoring the Timbersaw for the most part, still working the map, getting what farm they can. So it's not disrupting the farm patterns of Polaris as much as you'd want. You are sacking Nevermind's farm for this, so blink timing on Mars is going to be a lot longer, but overall, your bigger cores are finding what they want.
Wait, what?
What?
He's outside of the arena! I mean, they're still going to make the jump in. Wami is going to try and fight onto Lelouch, but he's going to try and zip away as Azura instead will settle for the task. How does Wami get out of the arena exactly? Gaben?
No clue. No clue how the coding on that one worked out. I mean, he had the chain going out, but the spear connected, but I guess the chain was pushing him out at the same tick. I don't know. It looks like a server tick thing, you know? We're only at 60 ticks, so sometimes things code on the same instance, and it leads to funny stuff like that, Mike.
Fair enough. Just, you know, while we're on the topic of tick rates on servers, John, how high can we get for tick rates? Like, what would be a more appropriate tick rate in your opinion for Dota?
60 is already pretty high, but there are some very big edge cases where, you know, it feels like you need a little bit more refinement, you know, just determining on that last second tick who gets kill credits first, right? That tends to be the big one when you kill each other at the same tick. I think maybe a bump to 90 fixes a lot of the issues, because 60 is already pretty damn high. Let's face it, Dota 2, in as much as those cases where certain commands collide onto the same instance, it's not very frequent. For the most part, like right now when you're farming, a higher tick rate doesn't matter. Right. So there is a case to say, all right, 60 is enough, but I feel like 90 would clean up a lot of those weird instances, maybe 120. Even then, whether or not it actually does, I don't know. Could just be interaction of spells in Dota 2 instead of tick rate. Could be anything, like.
Could be a feature. You just never know. A lot of things are features in this game, John. No bugs in Dota 2. All features. All part of the master plan of the frog. AG, speaking of master plans, right now DB's having a very good time once again, John. 8k net worth. About 3k ahead, of the PA, so as to be expected. The Battle Fury not available yet on Natsumi, but almost there. Just one more creep camp will do it. That should allow him to start escalating a little bit quicker. As we are going to have a smoke up now. AG going to try and punish somebody. They'll run right into the Dire Triangle, it seems like, and if they can find the PA, it'll be perfect timing. Problem is, Natsumi, he's down a bot lane, so instead they're going to run into Xavier's. There's going to be no catch, and instead, the zip is there. Lelouch going to make the jump in. Naaman, still fine. Wards a drop. They've got Lelouch and a double shackles is out. Arena, it's not going to save Lelouch. He's already gone on the Storm. They're still trying to make the jump in, but it's not looking good. They'll at least get the TP out for the Mars, but they are going to lose Xavius. AG getting very, very strong right now. More than happy to force these fights and although even hold the triangle of Polaris.
Just not quite safe play hard, still being chased, but not going to go all the way in AG. I'm a bit surprised Lelouch got caught by the Phantom's Embrace. That's the big one. That enabled Norman to get off the shackles, the double shackles, getting so many combinations here with a Grimstroke and Soulbind, and just get that lock-in. And not zipping around as much. Lelouch still had some mana in the tank to kind of dodge out, and gets punished for not doing so. Play hard?
He's a fast boy, John. Play hard. 477 movement speed at the moment, Jonathan. That horse, it's on something. Let's play hard. There's no way. There is no way. He is fogged, John. He is within the fog. Wami just didn't check, and now Azura's gonna die. Wami gonna find out the hard way. He was there the whole time, as now he'll be speared back by Nevermind. That's maybe just the difference in experience, Jonathan. Play hard, knowing the little spots that could get him out of those situations, and well, this time around it does work.
Yeah, he holds steady, just stands still, manages to dodge. Wami not guessing in the right spot, and gets punished for it. So a nice little sneak away there from Polaris. They find a big kill, putting down Azura, and they're starting to buy that space out now for Natsumi. Battle Fury up on our PA, still a huge net worth differential to work against here, but you can start to rest easy knowing your PA can keep up and farm. You've got the bot jungle to play with, you're shoving in that bot tier 1, soaking up that jungle, and the side of AG aren't interested in that defense. So you kind of got to watch here. You need to keep that building up on DB. He has to have that item advantage over the PA. Big one's going to be Scotty. They will TP in though.
Or try. I mean, it's all for the defense. There was a 3-man smoke from Army Geniuses, but again, they're not going to find anyone yet. Instead, it might be back into that dire triangle. See if they can replicate the previous team fight they had. Azura on the front lines. We'll see Lelouch if he does make his way to the high ground. They aren't going to make the jump in. Instead, mid lane. DB has, or was in trouble for a moment. Did cop a Walrus Punch, but he's fine. Instead, Lelouch is going to be able to zip away in time. Wami will set up with the Yule Scepter. Lelouch should still be able to get out. In fact, BKB's already up, so they've got the Timber Sword down. Double Shackles is there from Narman. Is it going to matter, though? It doesn't seem like it. They might find the Mars, but they're going to lose Nevermind. And Varish. They go for more. Lelouch will try to get some damage out onto Azura's. There's your jump in. The PA, though, getting instantly hexed up into the shackles now by Narman. They don't want to lose this guy. Snowball will save Natsumi. He'll blink out. Back towards Play Hard he goes as Azura still moves in. Does claim the kill. Finding the PA perfectly. And Natsumi maybe just getting a little too involved, a little too early. Does pay for it with his life.
Great punishment out from AG. They almost had Lelouch there as well. He was out of mana in the backline. They just couldn't jump that area. Couldn't find as much as they'd want here on AG's end. Still a big win for them. They're still in the area though. DB could be running a little bit of a risk. No arena up on Nevermind. That makes that entire prospect a little bit harder to pull off. And for the side of AG, you are starting to approach critical mass here for DB. Scotty's being worked on here, Mike. One ultimate orb up, just a little bit more away. And once you've got that, this PA is going to have a hard time running around. She's going to be very reliant on the Phantom Strike. Whenever that's down, it's a moment of vulnerability for Natsumi pre-BKB. And even with the BKB, again, your matchup against Dusa is not the cleanest for PA. Stone Gaze is always going to be an issue. No way for you to avoid that, even with your spell immunity. And you still maintain that good gold lead on DB. So Polaris need to do more to stop the Dusa. They haven't been able to punish the farming patterns out from DB. They have been playing really strongly as a team. Really good BKB reveal on Lelouch while staying alive, but they need to find more. And I think as long as this game slows down for AG's end, they're always going to be satisfied with the Dusa on their side.
Oh, absolutely. Like, yeah, there is a stage where the PA becomes a real problem, but that is a long time away for Natsumi. Still just trying to work towards the BKB. Maybe when he has that, he can, again, get involved in these fights. I do think it's going to be a good idea for him as well to just get the shards after the BKB, but we'll see what he does decide, as it seems like Army Geniuses have decided to go for Roshan. Now, why the hell not? You've got the Serpent Ward, so it's not going to be too hard. They'll take it. No contest here from Polaris. They'll let it go down. That'll be another life for DB on the Doosan. Well, it's already hard enough to deal with this man, let alone with the secondary life. Make matters even worse now. They've got a Brigand's Blade available, so DB, I'm sure, will be very happy to take that and amplify all his split shot damage. Xavius. That's already a lot of damage out from the Medusa. Scotty is not even up yet.
Yeah, just has a lot of damage on hand whenever he turns off that split shot for one target. Get a little bit of a shove in onto that mid. Polaris can't really afford to let this objective go, but they aren't in position to contest. I don't think they can deal with 2 lives on a well-positioned Deuce in these fights. It looks like they are just opting to play it slower. Try to build up on your Deuce, try to build up a little bit more on your Storm. A bit of an awkward time to pause as the zip is coming through, and they see that on AG's end with the creeps. So maybe a bit of ill timing here from Natsumi, but you know, Philippine internet is something that causes you to pause more often than not, Mike. Although never mind someone who disconnects.
Yeah, he is. You have a look at the showcase view of that Storm, Jonathan. Even the Frog's laughing at him right now. Look at that ward. Very happy Frog.
Beautiful view.
Trying to get in on the Frog, John, but you know, kind of hard to select anything in this game. There we go.
Yeah, there you are.
Look at that. A happy Frog.
Lovely Frog. Just happy to see storms up across. You know what I always find fun with Dota? The fact that the particle animation's always just a little bit behind your hero animation when you pause. Like that. Like the storm's slightly ahead of his trail for whatever reason. It's like, alright. That's cool. You don't see it while playing, so I guess it doesn't matter.
Zura. He's going to cancel the Rolling Thunder just at the last second. Not going to try for it yet, but there's your Rolling Thunder now being committed. Who are they actually jumping on, though? Zura? It's like he thought that perhaps they'd go for the Arcane Rune of the Storm, but that was not the case. He does leave it. Instead, back into the mid lane they go. DB, even without the Rolling Thunder available, does not seem too afraid to just go after the tier 2 mid tower, understanding how strong he is right now. There's Azura. He's going to force everyone else back, and DB just standing outside of tower range. And I remember when this was, you know, only Sniper could do this. Do you remember those times, John? When it was only Sniper that could hit a tower outside of tower range, and now you could just buy a Dragon Lance on any ranged carry, or any ranged core for that matter, and generally speaking, they'll be able to do it. Yep.
You remember it's time when you used to have Drow Venge, then you get the added range on something like Venge Aura when you used to do that? Those were fun times. TA with Dragon Lance plus Venge. I mean, yeah, that was balance times, Mike. So, yeah, Dota's changed a lot from our boomer days. Sniper's not the king of the hill of range anymore, unfortunately. Although, again, Sniper could be a good pick as they find Nevermind here.
They do. Azura going to be all over him, and with the inhibit out, there's no way out for the Mars. They do give him a bit of a voice line before Nevermind is set to fall, and Wami is going to be the one to take her to the Mars. Or rather, Timbersaw. 11-9 now. 2k net worth lead. Polaris Esports, nowhere near out of the game yet, but they are still just heavily reliant on seeing Natsumi grow a little bit bigger. At the very least, I believe he does have his BKB on the way now. So you've got that coming for you. Maybe just a damage item on top of that and he'll be ready. Top lane. Oh, Lelouch. Oh, he's out of mana? They're chasing him down. Lelouch. No. In fact, they're ignoring him. They're going after Play Hard instead. So they've got the Coddle. That'll make life even harder now for Polaris, as they've got to find a way to defend these towers, and well, they're not going to have the chance to.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
No wave clear on hand. PA can sort of wave clear, so can your Mars, but not as quick as the Coddle can, not as safe. So a bit of an opening for AG, not too much time though. Still got that Aegis hanging around here on DB. 2 minutes left. Has the full Scotty up now, Mike, going into that MKB. So your PA is really not going to be protected anymore. Like, all the evasion in the world won't save you from that Dusa once the MKB is up and running. And for Polaris, it's just an issue of late game core matchup. I think you are actually looking for more performance from Storm, Natsumi.
Well, they got Natsumi. He's going to BKB up. Lelouch will be there to follow up, but Azura, he just keeps rolling away. There's just Soulbind down. They're not going anywhere as now DB. No. He moves him from the backside. They've got the PA and they'll control him up, and he's just dead. Lelouch, he will try to zip his way out, but Wami's going to be right behind with the Yule Scepter. That'll be another 2 cores down here for Polaris, still at least trying to find a third. Onto the tusk they go. Azura, he'll go for the chase. In the meantime, the rest of AG will go through the mid lane. So eventually Azura should be able to land this inhibit. Oh, blink away again. Blink forward though. TP, it's going to be fine. He'll make it out. And in fact, they don't go after the mid-tier 3 tower. I thought AG would rush for it, but I guess because they're not as 5, they'll settle for a bot tier 2 instead.
Nah, their creeps were dragged away there while Xavier's was running. So you see that secondary creep that's a little bit unhealthy onto the mid. Couldn't make that move for the tier 3s, but the backdoor running. Have to settle with what they can find, but still a big win for the side farm geniuses. The BKB's flying out just because the Pangolier was rolling, nothing else to catch on Polaris' end, and then suddenly getting shackled up like that's not good for Xavius.
Going to Azura.
No, Lelouch.
Roll up his... Oh, Lelouch. Oh, boy. He's been caught out again by Naaman. Xavius in the meantime, he's in big, big trouble. There's no getting out. Yeah, I mean, Polaris, I realize they've made roster changes recently, John, but it's a pretty rough game 1 for him.
Yeah, it's not smooth going. And you can see maybe some of that coordination isn't quite there the same way it was for Polaris before. I mean, that zip punishment from Norman. Like, it's the one thing when you're playing Storm up against Shadow Shaman, it is hellish. You can't quite go for those high-risk plays to clearing out the creep wave, because there is an instant hex and instant shackles to keep you pinned down. And now they can start going for that high ground. Wards drop, creep wave is a bit behind, so they've got like a few second window, and backdoor will kick back in. The creep wave will make its way eventually. Polaris will go for a smoke play, trying to find some punishment. Storm does respawn quick. They've got an opportunity if they can see that opening.
They've got to find a way to take these heroes down. Like, DB, he's way too tanky, surely. They might try. Manta is there, DB. He's going to be alright. Stonegaze came off as well, so Lelouch, he's going to get petrified up, and they'll just move in. Arena's down. There goes the jump in from our Tusk Natsumi. He'll get the break off on the Dusa. Soulbind out as well. Still man fighting. DB, can he really take down the PA? It doesn't seem like it yet, but they are still chasing him down as they'll land the stuns. They've got the PA controlled up. Natsumi's gone. Onto the Mars we go. They want another. Nevermore. He will be the third to drop as now Lelouch will zip through right onto Naaman, but he's been silenced up.
No.
Oh boy, it's a rough time for Polaris Esports. They get almost completely wiped out. And DB, they were trying to chase down the last piece of the puzzle. Play hard. He's going to be alright. But this mid-tier 3 tower is going to be under siege, and it doesn't seem like there'll be any protecting it.
No, they do respawn fairly quick here on Polaris, so they should be able to contest the fight for the mega creeps. But you are seeing just again the bigger issues come true for Polaris. Like, how do you deal with Dusa? Even if you zip onto her, as long as she has Stone Gaze, your PA can't do anything. You've got really good soul binds coming out from Varish. They won't force the issue though. They respect those shorter respawns here from Polaris Ascend and do play it safe. But you've got this massive map advantage now. 20 to 10, 13k lead for AG. 2.5 racks, 1.5 racks is down as Nevermind popped his BKB.
Whoopsie.
My bad does fly out. And not the biggest issue in the world. You will have that 1 minute window where you're not going to feel as good in forcing a fight, but AG again, they do full retreat. So not going to have that be punishable from AG's end. Anyway, for Polaris now, Mike, it's all about trying to work towards the Storm Ags. That's the next big spike here. Having that AoE hold, you know, preventing maybe some of those BKB uses from coming out and just getting some control on top for Natsumi to get his damage off. It's going to be big second wind for Polaris if they can get the farm. Lelouch is still a ways off, very far away from that Ags here, Mike. So that build-up's going to take a lot longer, and as the game goes on, this Dusa just gets scarier and scarier. Butterfly coming through for DB next with his own evasion. PA is not going to enjoy that. And you don't tend to build anything from PA to rectify that at all.
Very tough times, at least for Polaris, but again, AG, they're having a great old time this game 1. Sticking to the game plan, DB has not faltered yet. Zip is going to be there. Lelouch, he does catch Varish, but he's still alive. In fact, he'll turn. Soulbind is there. Double hex out. Naaman, he could go for the double shackles and will do so. As Lelouch, he will cancel it off, but that's not going to help. DB is going to move in. Lelouch, you've got to be careful. He'll zip away. He might TP out in time. Mommy, no, he's got the Yules out. Oh, they caught the Storm again. desperately kills off Naaman, but it's not worth Lelouch's life for that.
Tower is under attack.
No, definitely not. Like, you need every single kill, and do get a lot of gold here on your storm for it. So I think it's not the biggest loss, considering that you're so far behind. You need this Ags. To find those 2 kills gives you 1.4k gold in the bank. And you're closing in on that AoE Vortex. And again, there's not much of a window for AG to use that storm while he's dead to take anything. Roche will be up though. And that is a bit scary for Polaris, but again, 20 seconds away, buyback ready. Not the worst thing in the world for Polaris. They do have nice forward wards as well to watch when the Roche happens. So perhaps that's Polaris' next play. Just contest Roshan, try to get a good zip angle here with Lelouch, and take that objective away. Second Roche is up. Roche does spot it, so AG has a point they can rally in if they want to.
Well, there's your
Narman
butterfly up.
on the hunt for something. Butterfly for a DB, making him tougher, and yeah, no, they'll just go straight for the Roche. Narman was trying to hunt, but he's still a solo Shadow Shaman there. Make a bit keen to try to find a solo kill. So
Don't
running.
underestimate- Yeah, I mean, why not? He wants a target. He's not going to find it. Almost. AG, they'll get a free Roshan for themselves, and for Polaris now, things are rather tough. They're going to 5-man smoke up. It's too late, though. Do they still force the fight? I don't think it's a great idea for them, and they're not. They will still wrap around, maybe trying to find a straggler. There are going to be a few heroes walking up very confidently in Azura. He's going to be one of them, so Xavius might be able to make the jump in, but Azura, he gets the roll up first. Rolling Thunder is not going to come out. He'll be protected. Polaris, once again, unable to find a target they really want to jump. Meanwhile, Wami, he's the one to get jumped. They've got the break available, so they'll take him down. A good start here for Polaris as DB is still going to try and rush in. Zipping back towards Varish again. They've got the Grimstroke. That'll be a second. Everyone ignoring DB. Now they're trying to move in on the Dusa. Do they have the damage output? DB, he's still fine. Xavius, the one in danger. Meanwhile, Naaman, he's gone. Natsumi, just taking down all the supports, but he's gone to boot. DB, he's just hitting way too hard as it's onto the Mars now. Protected within the arena, but not for long. They'll get another. And now, with DB being alive, you should be able to move in as Lelouch is going to try and snipe Azura, and he will find him. It's a 2v2 scenario here for the side of Polaris, but again, if you can't focus down DB, chances are you aren't going to be able to protect this top racks. Buyback will be there. They're going to try. Chip away at that mana pool, but keep in mind he does have the secondary life as DB will drop the first one. See if they can do it a second time. DB's gonna keep going. Like, never mind. He's had enough. The meantime, oh, never mind. Xavius.
All right.
Gets taken down by Varish, apparently. Now DB. He'll just keep moving in.
Yeah, not a care in the world here. Fortify has to be used on the last set of racks. Like, their tier 4s are already half HP. I don't know if that's worthwhile, as the rest of AG is already starting to come back up, and this is not going to take long at all.
It certainly isn't. They are just trying to buy in time for the Phantom Assassin, but she is still 7 seconds away, so it's going to be one final defense for Polaris to try and make this one work. Zip in. They'll try to aim the Shaman first. Lelouch already on the right target is going to find one. Silence will be there though. Another Silence out who'll be forced to BKBs. He's going to zip away. In jumps Natsumi. Onto the Medusa they go. Soulbind will be there. DB just happy to fight back with the Stone Gaze pop. They cannot turn around and stare at her, so never mind. Is going to go down. Natsumi, he'll get caught out by the Rolling Thunder. Azura, he's there. No blink away. That should be it. Surely you've got to call the GG. They've got the Ags up on the Storm. Maybe they'll try. I just can't see DB dying. There's your buyback from Nevermind. Jump in. They're going to surround DB on the Deuce up. The Manta is popped. Spear is not going to stun up. DB still man fighting. Another Walrus punch out. Maybe they've got enough damage this time. DB about to drop. Disarms are there. They've got the kill though. The Deuce is down. Wami now. He should be the next target. In the meantime, Azura, he'll get Nevermind down. DB giving the tips over to Lelouch. In the meantime, from the graveyard as he'll keep going, but there's Naaman. He's got the Hex out. He's got the Serpent Wards down. They've got the control, and they should have the Storm kill eventually. As Lelouch will barely drop, and that'll be enough. Polaris, they'll call it. They know they can't defend any longer. There'll be game 1 to go the way of Army Geniuses.
Dyer's ancient radiant
Yeah, that's pretty wild. You know, Polaris got the Kotl Storm. I think a lot of people expected Polaris to be the favorites, but it looks like that roster shakeup making things a little bit tougher for them. AG, again, this is a team that has steadily improved throughout Div 2, that is still stuck in Div 2, and Polaris is still very favorably in the middle of the pack of Div 1, staying there for the next tour. A really good glimpse as to how tight Southeast Asia is, Mike. AG, again, showing off that improvement, playing really well, just coordinating as a team. Very spectacular performances out from the sports. Varish and Norman working together as a great duo, getting those double hexes off, double shackles off every single time, and it just broke those fights open. Like, all of that control, despite having some of the BKBs, not respecting those supports, and that did lead to Lelouch trying to jump those supports later on. But again, at that point, you had the issue with Dusa. And I think for Polaris, they've got to take a look back. Yeah, they started off with Storm Kotl. They ended up with a really unfavorable core matchup in PA versus Dusa. I think they've got to reconsider that. They have to respect AG, because this is still a team to watch out for, Mike.
Certainly agree with you there, Jonathan. It did feel like it was just a complete outdraft here against Polaris Esports. We'll see what they change up in Game 2, as we are going to head off to a short 10-minute break. And of course, right after that break, we'll be back with Army Geniuses and Polaris Esports Game number 2. We'll see you then.